Okay guys, as promised, here's the tutorial on how I made the Notepad booklet. On Wildcards 2, page 39, it's the pencil image. What I went ahead and did is did our card. If you notice, remember I talked about the red bubbles? I actually made the card shape 4.4 3/4, 4.75 or 4 3/4 in size for height, which stretched it out over 11 inches across on my paper. And then of course, leaving our real dial size button off, I cut each of the layer pieces in kind. Okay, we're gonna get our papers out and lay it out on our Cricut mat to cut. So let me just show you what papers we're gonna be using. This is just a piece of color box paper that I had, a scrap piece that I had from one of their paper packs. Whoops. This is a scrap piece of pink. And then all the other pieces that I'm going to be using for our pencil and our cover are scrap, except for we're going to use the body of our pencil. We're going to be using some paper from an Amy Tangerine paper pack that I picked up. And we're going to be using this sheet. And then we're also going to be using this sheet, and this is from a crate paper. This is a Storyteller paper pack. We're going to be using this one. So let's go ahead and put our images on our mat and cut them out and come back and we'll start putting them together. Okay, so we have our Amy Tangerine and our crate paper pieces already cut out. Let me back up a little bit so that you can see it. We're going to put this all together. We've got, and I'll show you on the book, we've got our bottom layer piece here. We've gone ahead and made our pencil piece poking out of this cork looking paper. We've made our top layer out of that fun Amy Tangerine paper from American Crafts. And we have our little red eraser. And this is all for our pencil. And then you're going to glue it all down and you're going to have your pencil. So I'm going to move this off to the side for a second because we're going to glue it down in a sec. Then we have our book. And remember I told you I made it a little bit wider. So let me show you what I did. I went ahead and I'm going to zoom in just so that you can see it. I made some score lines. I did 1/8 of an inch from this middle piece off to the left, and off to the right. Then I did another 1/8 of an inch piece from this right line over, so that when you open it, it has a little piece where it can bend back a little bit. And this is actually the cover of our card. And so now you've got these score lines. I scored it in and you have a little divot right there. Now all I did was I cut some paper, and this is just photocopy paper, and I cut the photocopy paper at 5 1/4 by 4 1/2. And had to think about that for a second. And I cut enough paper, and then I had some other little paper that was already attached to a notepad that I just peeled off and just put in there as extra filler. I went ahead and took a piece of just regular cardstock and I cut it a little shorter, and you can determine the length of how short you want. It fits into my card and it's a little bit shorter on the end, and it's going to allow these papers to go in. They're going to fit in that, and I did that 1/8 wide, the score lines on each. I also then went ahead, a quarter inch. Then I went 1/8 of an inch back so that this again has a little piece that can fold back from the pages. Now, and this is ultimately going to go ahead and go in here like this. And then we're going to put the rest of our layer cuts on here. But in order to get the paper to stick down there nice and sealed in, I'm gonna break out another Provo Craft item. I'm gonna break out the Your Story, which allows you to do the book binding. Now there's two ways you can do this when you're making your own homemade book. You can go ahead and get your glue gun and put your glue in here, leaving it a little bit off from each edge. Let the glue gun glue dry. Stick your papers in their slot. Let it rest on there and stick it in your Story, and you can make your own homemade book binding. The other way you can do it is that the Your Story sold glue strips that you're able to put down in the base of your book and stick it in the glue stick. I mean in the glue strip in there, and then stick it in your Story to bind. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that and put our book together. While our insert piece is cooling off with our Your Story, let's go ahead and put together our front cover and put that up there. And then we're going to come right up along here, and we're going to put this piece right down following those little cut lines. So we're going to get some of our quick dry adhesive out in order to glue this down. And I should be working on my craft mat for this. Okay, so that's our spiral piece. Then we're going to go ahead and start using these pieces. You're going to be doing it from that inside crease line over to the edge. And go ahead and press all the way down, because we're going to be cutting off that overhang. So go ahead and do that to all of your lines, and then our insert should be cool and we'll be able to finish putting this together. Okay, so now we've gone ahead and we've glued the front of our lines on. We haven't put our pencil on yet, but we do need to go ahead and cut the excess pieces or the overhang of the lines off. So just go ahead and get any one of your scissors and just go ahead and trim right along the side of your cut. Whoops, that one's not glued down. Let's go back and add some adhesive to that puppy. Okay, so now all your pieces go straight just to the edge. We've gotten our book back from our Your Story, and so now we have a nicely bound book with its pages for you to write in. Look, Ma, no hands. You can shake it upside down. The glue just goes ahead and cements it in there. So now we can go ahead and put that piece right inside of our overside of our little binder here that we're going to make. And I'm going to go ahead and we took some Recollections red line tape and we put it just on a piece of brown cardstock. I'm going to put it down the back of this book from the top to the bottom, nice and good. Right? Now we're going to pull off this piece just so that you can see where it's going. Okay. if you don't think it's placed right. Okay, so now you've got that. And we also have this little piece that bends back there too. So now we've got that piece stuck in as well. So now you're just going to go ahead and apply your pencil, and we may actually just pop dot our pencil up just a little bit off of this book to give it some dimension. And you can add any other embellishment that you want to add to this book. If you want to go ahead and add the sentiment that came with it on the cartridge, just a note to the front, you can go ahead and do that. If you have some other saying that you want to put on there, reminders, to do, whatever, you can go ahead and put that on the cover of the book and decorate your little notepad.